Hello and welcome. We are going to talk about four important concepts: suite setup, test setup, test teardown, and suite teardown. For the suite setup, let's imagine you are going to the bank to visit the accounts department, investments department, HR department, or the complaints department. So what do? You enter the bank once and go to any of those departments. You don't have to go out of the bank and come back just to visit a different department. So you enter the bank once, go to the account department or the investments department or any other departments. So it is the process of preparing the test environment before executing the test suite. For example, if a test suite requires a database connection, the suite setup would involve creating the database, populating it with test data, and establishing the necessary connections. So if your test cases need to fetch data from a database, we create the connection only once, and the test cases will have access to them. We don't need to create it for each and every test case. So in our case, the best suite setup will be to delete all the employees before we start the test execution. So typically, test automation should have its own sandbox and database where data can be inserted or deleted. So it doesn't affect the production database, the data in the production database. So now we have the test setup and the test tear down. For the test setup, they are so let's use the bank analogy again. So you want to go to the accounts department. So what do? You enter that department, do whatever you want to do, and then you come out of the department. So the same for the investments. You go in of the investments and you come out. So this will be our test case. So the accounts, investments, HR, and the complaints will be our test cases. So they are done for each and every test case. So let's assume you have to swipe your card or something when entering the accounts department. So you swipe your ID card, the door opens for you, you enter. And then when you are coming out, you have to swipe again to come out. So it is done for each and every department, or in this case, each and every test case. So you enter the HR as well, you come out, enter the complaints, and come out. And then we have, so it is the process of preparing the test environment before executing an individual test case. For example, if a test case requires a specific user account to be logged in, the test setup would involve creating the user account and logging in. And in our case, for the test setup, we will have the open and maximize browser keywords. So before each test case opens, so before you register employee 1, the browser opens and maximizes. Then for the same for employee 2, the browser opens and maximizes. And so that will be for the test setup. And for the test tear down, the browser would close, and then we can also capture the screen as well, the screenshot as well. And then for the suite tear down, we are exiting the bank. So after visiting the accounts department, investments, HR, and complaints department, you come out of the bank. So you exited the bank after you visited those departments. So that is the meaning of the suite tear down. So this process refers to the cleaning of the test environment after executing the entire test suite. So after all the test cases have run, whether they failed or not, it is done after all the test cases have been executed. For example, if the test suite created temporary files or modified database records, the suite teardown would involve deleting the temporary files and restoring the database to its previous state and closing the database, for example. Then for our case, we can delete all the employees the automation created. So we have a clean slate, but we will need the data to be in the table. So the suite teardown can be left blank. So let's go to PyCharm and see it in action. So this is where we left off from the previous video. We refactored the test case we had into its own keyword, register an employee. So now we are going to use the 4 concepts we learned earlier. But before we do that, let me quickly delete these test cases and provide new ones. Yes, so these are the test cases. So let's run them and see if they are able to register the employees. So let me delete these files. And then we have robot include, and then the register tag, and then the directory for the output files, and then the file to run. We already have a couple of names there. So we are still registering the employees. Yes, so it is done. Let's check the log file. So this is it. So register John, Doe, Jane, Smith, Michael, Diego, Gretchen. So everything is still running as they should. So now let me introduce the 4 concepts we talked about. So those ones come under the settings section. So we have the suite setup, we have the suite, the test setup, test teardown, and then test suite teardown. So let's quickly try something. So let me just log I am in the test in the suite setup. I am in the test setup. I am in the test teardown. Yes, suite teardown. let's re-register John Doe and C. So let's just change the tag to, let's say, register 6 and run that one. So only John Doe is re-registered. Yes, so it passed. Let's check. So as you can see, we have only John Doe because only that tag was run. And we have set up. So this is the suite set up and the suite tear down. So we typed in I am in the suite set up. Then this one says tear down, suite tear down. And then we have the register John Doe. As you can see, we can't see the test set up and the test tear down because it belongs to the test case. So you have to expand the test case, and then you are going to see the test setup, the number of keywords or all the keywords the test case has, after which you are going to see the test tear down. So let's run another one, but let's delete the names first. Yes, so we have a clean slate. So now we can run everything once again, but you need to remember to change this and run again. Still running. One more. Yes, so it is done. Let's refresh. So we have all the employees registered, and we have the log file, and it took the whole test suite took 49 seconds. So let's see. Well, here it says 50 seconds, so still under 1 minute. So as we can see, we have the suite set up and suite tear down, and then we have all the test cases. This is because the suite setup runs once before all the test cases run, and when the test cases are done, then the tear down also kicks in. So let's see. So let's see the register John Doe test case. So now this is the test setup. So I am in the test setup, and then it registers John Doe, and when it is done, the test tear down kicks in. I am in the test tear down. So let's see the next one. Register Jane Smith. So you see the setup as well, the test setup and the test tear down. The same for Michael, test setup, test tear down. The same for all of them as well. So we are going to again refactor our test cases to use these 4 concepts, and we are going to do that in the next video. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.